This is my Velectrix Righto Urban Plus bike, where what I wanted to do is add a USB port to it so I can run my phone and other devices from the battery on it. So what I had to do was first of all take the battery out, which I've done, all right, and then the next thing was take some screws out that hold the top battery holder in. There are 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, 2 of those screws, that one there and that one there, which I've removed, right, actually hold in the lock. So I've undone the screws, and if I pull it like this, it all comes out. And you'll see not only that comes out, but also the lock comes out. Right? So the lock is a separate part of the thing. The hard part's getting it all back in. Now what I've done is there was a wire, a red and black wire going into there, so I've tapped into that and put in another wire, which is this wire up here, that wire, that's right, and I've looped it down through the casing, so it comes out at the bottom there, and hopefully I've got a little, comes out the bottom there, and I'll have a little adapter that goes in there, and I'll put a little device either there or there, so I can plug in my USB port so I can actually run the USB power. Now, one of the big problems is putting this all back together. I've already put it together once, and the wiring didn't work, but I've checked the wiring. Hopefully it works, going to work now. So what you've got to do to put it together is, first of all, I suggest that you, without the lock in, right, you try it. So if you just put it like that, right, and I thought my extra little plugs there have got in the way. Turns out they haven't. All you do is put it in like that, but you'll notice there's a little thing on the side there, which is that there. Run again. There's a little thing on the casing on the side there, on this thing, so that actually fits in a little hole there that they've had to cut into the frame. Well, let's see if I can focus this. And that little hole there, it's got to fit into that. So if you just put it down like that, put it in that position, and push it forward, and eventually just push it forward a couple of times. I find if I hold on that, that clicks in place. That clicks in place, and then that will go all the way into position. All right, I'll just do that again. Take it out. You have it 4 and 4, and you see it won't fit in because it's too high there. But if you put it down, hold it at those 2 pins, put your thumb on and push up, it actually goes in. Now the hard part is putting that in with the lock in. Oops, my finger's in the way. Putting that in with the lock in. So what you've got to do is put the lock in there, slide that in, and then there's 2 screws, the 2 screws there, that actually go in and lock it in place. Now, it's hard to sell. Now, I can't hold the camera and video at the same time. However, I've found if I put that in, let's take this out completely, right? Take that out, right? Put the lock in, all right? That way. I can't do this two-handed. I need a tripod. Perhaps I'll go get a tripod and set. Okay, put the lock in like that. Have it sticking out. There we go. I can't do this one-handed. There we go. Put that lock in that position there. Oh. Can't do this one-handed. There we are. Put the lock in, then put the key in the lock, right? So you've got something bigger to hold it for. Then push that case in. Then you can turn it round until you get to the little brass thing there, sticks through the hole. I'll just show you what it's supposed to stick through. Okay, there we go. It's supposed to sit on like that. You know, this is the most awkward way of doing things. So it's supposed to sit like that. So it sits like that. There we are. So that's supposed to sit like that. All right, somehow. Okay, there we are. So it's supposed to sit like that when it goes back in. So you've got to push that in, click that in. It's difficult as hell to get in. All right. Okay, there we are. So I'll put the thing down, the phone down, and see if I can record. I can put it in place and see when I've got the key halfway through and take another video of it. I might get the tripod out and see if I can do it that way. Now, with the key in and moving it around a little bit, holding it around and getting it into position and turning the thing around so that that spring, that the part of the lock is sticking out that hole, so you can see that little orange brass thing. I've lined it up. Now I've got to put those one or two of the two screws in to hold it in place while I'm putting it in. So one screw there, one screw there, another screw there. Put it in place to hold it in place. So watch when it's all in place. Okay. Now with the two screws in, I tighten it up, and when I tighten it up it should pull the lock into position. All right, that one's reasonably alright. Move that one into position. Try to look through the camera and do this at the same time. Alright, put that in position and tighten that one up. But as I said, it's a lot easier doing this when you've got the key in the lock and you've got something long to hold the lock in place. So there it is, that's the key in position now. I can take that out and that spring is obviously going to work. Alright. Of course, there's another screw down the bottom. That one there has to be screwed in as well. So you've got screw there. Oh yeah. Screw there. Screw there and screw there that holds the lock in place. And then one right down the bottom here. Well, I've only got a screw in that hole. Oh, I still got the screw in my mouth. I've got to screw that one in. And of course then there's the one down the bottom here. So there's the one, two, three screws holding this thing in, and two screws screwing the plastic thing into the lock on the outside. This is how I finished putting the USB onto the bike. Actually, that's not USB, it's a 12 volt. I'll have to go get the USB and show how I've plugged in. So anyway, it's got a 12 volt plug, and I'll put in a USB socket into there, and I'll run a cable up to where I am sitting on the seat. Going down to that, I've got to go into just a plug, which I'll have to probably seal off to make sure no water gets into that. And I've got to go into this device, which is a 36 volt to 12 volt converter, and that's just coming from down the bottom there. I'll go around the other side, have a look at it. Okay, that's just a plug in where I plug it in, so I can disconnect it just by doing that. I'm disconnecting that plug or plug it in. Whoop. Okay, there's the bike. Alright, there's a USB plug, 12 volt USB plug. I plug it into here, obviously. Little light comes on in there, and then obviously I plug in that to my phone. Alright, that's why the reason I got that there is I've just got a piece of clear plastic, right, one on that side, one on that side, and then screwed in with these bolts that were already on the frame. Alright, so they'll just put in there. That goes down to a little adapter just so I can do a thing. I could do a little bit more glue in there, perhaps, if I get that to focus. little bit more glue in there that goes down to there. That is a little device, is a 4638 volt to 12 volt converter, right? That just goes down to the cable I've got in there, and the cable goes through the tube up to the tube. It's widened up there, which I showed in a previous video. All right, so perhaps in retrospect I could have wired it down the bottom, but that's too close to the controller, and I don't want to cut the cables near the controller. I wanted more slack to cut it there. So that's the whole thing. So when I'm riding, I find I have to run the cable down the front of me. That way, if I'm throwing my leg over to get on and off the bike, because it's a male bike, right, a guide for a male bike, then if I throw my leg over, I have to have it at the front. If I have it going around the back, I put it over, I'll pull the cable out. Okay, so that's it. That cable goes into obviously my phone. That's it. Any questions? Email me. Bye.